This video about the treasure legend is excerpted and translated from YouTube as mentioned on the screen. The epilogue is from Dr. Wen J, Whan, an exploration geophysicist.
I want to show you the treasures legend in Taiwan. Taiwan is also a place for treasure hunting. Why? Because Taiwan was colonized by Japan for so many years. In the era of Japanese occupation, the Japanese army launched the World War II and invaded China. Japan surrendered in August 1945. Before surrendering around the beginning of 1945, the Japanese knew the situation was hopeless. They started to bury and hide the treasure embezzled during the occupation, waiting for a day when the situation is safe and stable, to come back to Taiwan and take out this treasure they buried. According to the information published by the Japanese Treasure Association, it says Taiwan. When the Japanese army was about to retreat, there are 45 treasures left behind and were buried in 8 different locations. These 8 locations are what Taiwanese are enjoying hunting for treasures. The total value of these treasure at these 8 locations, according to the Treasure Hunt Association, is about $3 billion. Some people thought that might be underestimated. They think it should be about $20 billion. Nevertheless, there are 8 locations buried with treasures. Due to time limit, we could not talk about them one by one. The most famous one out of the 8 locations is on the picture shown. It is in Nontao, Taiwan. A mysterious treasure in Gugu Mountain. Why do I especially talk about Nontao Gugu Mountain? Because all the treasure hunting can't be just from guessing or looking everywhere. You do need some reliable basis, and also reliable historical studies. This Nontao Gugu Mountain was the former Japanese army base. Where is it? It is in Xinyi Township. There is a place called Dili Village Tushiwan in Xinyi Township, along the country road line 16. When the Japanese army was about to retreat from this place, there are some treasures buried there. There are evidences. The first evidence is that in 1961, there is an indigene named Wen Ming from Xinyi Township. In 1961, he said that when the treasure was buried in 1945, the Japanese army used a lots of the so-called military porter to help carry heavy boxes. He was one of the military porters to carry this so-called treasure. He said the treasure they carried was the small wooden boxes, but very heavy. He had no ideas about how many boxes he carried it with a few people. The boxes were pulled and dragged box by box. But why he said it was a treasure? Because this box was very heavy, and the mountain trail is rough and difficult to walk. Sometimes if it rained, the road will be slippery. So someone, when carrying a box, accidentally slipped. As soon as they slipped, the box fell to the ground. Bump, that wooden box was broken. I saw it with my own eyes after it was broken. What is this? Gold nuggets and gold bars. Yellowish gold bars. He knew what the Japanese army asked him to move was the yellowish gold. He thought he was moving arms or ammunitions. But no, it was actually gold bars. So he thought it was all about grenades, bullets or something. He actually found out that it was gold bars. It is said the Japanese army ordered to kill all the military porters. Like most of the treasure legends, after the treasure is hidden, in order to keep the secret, they needed to kill all of them. But the man escaped, because it is in the deep mountains and dense forests, and because he is a native from Hualien and transferred to Xinyi Township. He was unfamiliar with the surrounding area. He only knew that in the mountains of Xinyi Township, there was a treasure cave from Japanese army. Okay, this is the first information about the treasure, an oral statement from ex-military porters. Secondly, why this place? Everyone would especially believe that there should be a treasure. In 1960, there was an overseas Chinese from Hong Kong named Xu Pingking. This Mr. Xu Pingking suddenly showed up in 1960 and said he once had a Korean friend. This Korean friend was captured by the Japanese army as a military porter. He gave him a treasure map and said the Japanese army, when retreating from Taiwan, left a treasure around Gugu mountain in Nontao. He gave him a treasure map. What was this treasure map? The map showed that in Nontao Shinyi Township in the middle of a big mountain. Go find a Japanese pine. After seeing Japanese pine, walk northeast for about 120 meters. You would find a big rock. There was a feature next to this stone. There were 5 stone chrysanthemums beside the stone. Okay, big stone, Japanese pine. Distance and 5 daisy flowers. 4 clues are clearly described. So this Mr. Xu Pingking thought it deserved a try for the treasure. And he also believed when the Japanese retreated, there must have left something, so-called treasure. So Mr. Xu Pingking applied for the permissions from the Taiwan authorities for the digging, and he swore, if he got the permission but couldn't find out something, he would commit a seppuku. He showed his confidence about this treasure, almost 100% certain. Unfortunately, after he applied, less than a few months, Mr. Xu Pingking passed away in a car accident. So no one knew the right information for this treasure. In addition to the so-called 4 clues just mentioned, is there any other literature description? What other messages? After his death, this matter fell silent. Until the 1970s and 1980s, many people went into the mountains to find the treasures, including the central government. They sent people to visit and survey the site. So later, someone said, the military police and the Ministry of Defense sent soldiers to this place and listed it as one military location, and ordinary people were not allowed to come here for treasure hunting. So this place was later listed as a military-controlled location, whether it was by the Department of Defense or by military police, joined by certain engineering units, to dig it by themselves. No one knew. However, the geophysical exploration results from 3J Tech, which is a professional exploration company since 1980, showed a big anomaly with low resistivity from shallow formation. These anomalies could be from gold together with other metal buried. They could also be from mineral deposits. For the anomalous locations identified from the 2-phase explorations, we propose a crowd fundraising. The total distance for the core drillings is expected to exceed 1,200 meters to complete the 3rd phase exploration and mining planning. It is proposed to raise $1 million at $100 per unit. If the mining is successful, the maximum return of the investment is expected to be about 1,000 times. The return is proposed to be paid by an equivalent value of gold. The net non-gold related income shall be used to buy gold for the repayment. The income from the project will be used to develop renewable green energy and carbon capture and storage services. At that time of paying stage, an online platform might be established to establish a centralized deposit and trading mechanism to facilitate the circulation of the products and possible gold trading regulations. This project uses scientific and precise exploration engineering, but there are still risks. The amount invested should be an affordable risk. The project is scheduled for 2 years. However, it may be delayed due to government administrative procedures. Green energy development by crowdfunding for treasure hunting. Please contact Dr. Wen J at +886 928 229907 or wwj@3jtech.com.tw.